Welcome back to the Dragon Den, my loyal Dragonites. King of Dragons 5000 is back with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the AEW Unrivaled collection, Toni Storm. And so here we have Toni Storm posed and out of the packaging, but before we have a look at the figure, let's run through her accessories. Toni Storm does come with her entrance jacket as well as a pair of sunglasses. Her final accessory is the AEW Women's title. Other than that, Toni Storm doesn't come with anything else, unfortunately, so with that out of the way, let's have a closer look at Toni Storm. Having a closer look at Toni Storm, I think Jazzwares has done an amazing job with Toni here. They did a really good job nailing down her proportions perfectly. Taking a look at the head sculpt, this is a really nice head sculpt for Toni Storm. Her eyes are printed on very nicely, and I love the fact that they are actually printed on the sculpt. She also has this bright red lipstick which looks really good, and the eye black underneath her right eye looks really good as well. You can see she is sporting the shorter hair which looks really good, and there is some black hair in there as well. As far as her ring gear goes, she is wearing a black and red top which looks really nice, and I love the detail work in it. The studs at the top are done really nicely and are sculpted as well as painted. Then we do have the laces in the front of her attire which looks good, and her choker is actually a separate piece. Unfortunately, the back of the figure just has painted details. The studs here are not sculpted at all. Toni Storm does have bare arms, and we don't have any elbow pads or wrist tape on her. However, Jazzwares did include the tattoos that we see on her forearms as well as on her left wrist and her right finger. Her shorts are also done in red and black and continue that studded detail. However, most of the studs are just painted on, which is a little bit unfortunate, but the laces in the front are sculpted on as well. Going down her legs, she has an interesting set of boots here. Originally I thought they were knee pads with boots, however the boot sculpt is actually one solid piece and it does work perfectly here. The straps on her boots are actually separate pieces, which was something I really wasn't expecting. But the sculpt work on her boots is fantastic, with it being softer at the top to allow for some articulation to go through. And her boots do have some really nice sculpted laces which look perfect here. And we also do get some wrinkled detail on her boots, which is a really nice touch. So overall, the detailing here on Toni Storm is actually rather impressive, although I do feel like they missed the mark with some of the sculpted detail that should be there. With her details out of the way, let's get her compared to our usual suspects. Here we have Toni Storm posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and DC Multiverse Superman, Mattel's WWE Elite Series and Mezco's 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man, the Lightning Collection White Ranger, and the Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally we have Toni Storm posed next to several other AEW women action figures. So as you can see, the scale on Toni Storm is actually rather good, and she does fit in nicely with the rest of your Unrivaled collection. With her comparisons out of the way, let's have a look at her articulation. Toni Storm does have a ball hinge in the head, arms go out to the side and do a full 360. She has a bicep swivel and a double hinged elbow. Hinge and swivel at her wrists. Toni Storm has a ball joint in the upper torso and a waist swivel. Legs do kick forward, go back, out to the side, and have a thigh swivel. She does have a double bend in her knees. Finally, she has a boot swivel, a hinge in the foot, and forward facing pin for rocker ankle. So overall, the standard articulation here for Toni Storm, however her knees will be the only thing hindered because of the way her boots are sculpted. But overall, the articulation still works perfectly here for Toni Storm. So with everything said and done about the AEW Unrivaled Toni Storm, let's get her posed for my final thoughts. The AEW Unrivaled Toni Storm is a fantastic figure for any AEW collector. They really hit the mark with this figure, giving her an impressive look, and I absolutely love the way she looks with her coat on. Add to it getting the new AEW Women's title, it was a very nice touch, and I absolutely love the way it looks. The major drawback to Toni Storm is that the coat is made of a softer plastic, which unfortunately doesn't help with articulation much. Add to it the extreme lack of accessories here for Toni Storm is a little bit unfortunate. We don't even get alternate hands for this women's champ. The detailing on her is really nice, and the paint apps are actually quite clean, and despite the fact it's red and black, they look fantastic. I actually did find my Toni Storm at my local Target, which is where I've been picking up most of my AEW figures. This figure is a really good stand-in until we get our timeless Toni Storm figure, which I'm pretty sure Jazzware has in the pipeline somewhere. So with that being said, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and check out the rest of my AEW videos. If you're in a position to help out with the Dragon Den, check out my Patreon where I have some exclusive content and early access videos. Check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, videos, recent pickups, latest prints, and as always, ring that bell so you never miss another video. And until next time, my fellow Dragonites coming from the Dragon Den, I'm King of Dragons 5000 reminding you to redesign, rebuild, and reclaim. I'll see you next time.